needing to grab the pop-out chat from Rumble. And I need to actually pause the TV up there. And yeah, so welcome to Minecraft Monday, and today we're going to do things a mite bit different. I don't usually figure on throwing religious content in with my gaming stuff, but it's come to my attention that the gaming stuff is fine, but it's not really, what's the word? So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to eat a bullet, so to speak, because my ability to read in public is dog crap. And we're going to pull up Proverbs 12, chapter 12. Not Psalms, because while I do enjoy reading the Psalms, they are knowledge, but they're not directed knowledge like Proverbs is. Proverbs is more, well, it's more generalized knowledge, like, don't diddle your neighbor's wife kind of thing. But whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. You know what? Instead of reading the whole chapter, I think we're just going to stick to that one verse, because I've noticed something happening a lot. Actually, I think we'll just use we'll use the first 4 verses here. A good man obtains favor from the Lord, but a man of wicked intentions he will condemn. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous cannot be moved. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. Now, this actually, while they use the phrase wife, applies to just about every human being. And to those who run gangs, you know exactly what I mean. And to those who are in gangs, you need to understand what it means. When you run a gang and your gang's core intention is ill-fated, meaning you want to commit crime or some other sort of evil, understand that you're accepting condemnation, you're not accepting salvation. But if you're a gang that is dedicated to the protection of innocence, helping the elderly, or some other just cause like that, then generally speaking, the Lord is going to look on you favorably. The word protection, not to be misconstrued as a protection racket, but I mean straight up the legitimate protection thereof. That was Proverbs 12, 1 through 4. See, to put it in street language, if your homie's fucking up in a bad way and you're in a gang, it makes everyone else look like shit. And I am going to use that language because it is appropriate. Let's say you have a gang who has a good core philosophy. Let's say restoring your community or your town or whatever to what it once was, bringing it back to good old days so everyone can live happily, right? But let's say one of your members decides that stealing from the coffers or making a fool of himself while representing, then you know exactly what that is, right? Well, it's the same thing with a wife. When you marry someone, it is a literal ride or die commitment in the Bible. When you are married to someone, that person is not only your spouse, they are your representative in everything that they do, just as much as you are for them. Which is why I don't go out in public and act like a fucking lunatic. I'd love to go on a street corner with a Bible and say, "Ye end of days is coming." But realistically speaking, I don't know when they're coming. I know that they are going to be here, but I just don't know when. And that's true of anyone who actually reads the Bible and actually understands what Revelations actually means. Um, it's kind of an interesting book because it's both literal and figurative at the same time. It's one of the rare times that a religious book actually has the benefit of being a literal prophecy and also a figurative, keep in line book. Um, Go figure, right? Um, you know. Anyway, so yeah, if you're going out there being a butthole to everyone that you meet, then you're going to make everyone that you associate with kind of look like a butthole. So maybe don't be a butthole. That being said, that river floats both ways, Um, and in this society, I feel like the both ways floating thing just doesn't seem to click with some people properly. They'll go out and, like with the trans community, and I use the air quotes here because I'm not talking about the specific trans people. I actually have trans people in my life that are like the best people you'll ever meet, right? They'll go out to a bar with you, they'll have drinks, they'll party hardy, and they'll just have a grand old time and not influence kids. They're just good people, right? Those aren't the ones I'm talking about. The ones that I'm talking about are the Dylan Mulvaney's of the world. They are the ones that do it for clout and or other purposes other than they feel a certain way. They feel a certain way, all right. They feel like they need the public's attention, so they're going to run out and dress like a bunch of fucking idiots and act the part. Those are the ones I'm addressing, which, by the way, we have, before you say anything, Christians have it too. So do atheists, so do Satanists, so do Buddhists, a little bit less on the Buddhist side. The Islamic religions have it. Those would be your terrorists, by the way. Every group of people, if you have a group of people, there's some dark, seedy underbelly that's going to go out and be publicly performative, and I fucking hate people that do that. It's not the public, it's the performative part that I hate. Number one, it makes the people that are legitimately a part of the legitimate community look like crap, because every time these performers go out and perform, it's usually not in a good way. It's representation, alright. It's the worst type of representation a community could ever have, because you're going to go out and make yourself an ass in public to everyone else when that's not what the rest of the community wants. They just want to be left the fuck alone. Which is fine. That's more or less what everyone in the United States wants, is to be left the F alone. We don't want your Islam over here because you believe in Sharia law and your own religious documents say convert or kill, basically. The more accurate interpretation would be convert, enslave, or kill infidels. And, the people who act on that are the ones that we don't want over here. We want them to stay in the third world where they fucking belong. And if they make something of the third world, good for them. Seal clap, no one gives a shit. And that's more or less the world that we live in nowadays. Unfortunately, because we have that attitude with Islam, we're afraid to take that attitude with people of other identities, except for Christians, because Christians are basically blanket protected to make fun of in the United States, which is going to have its... I'm just going to say that God will not be mocked and leave it at that, but it's gonna come to a head at some point. But right now, I kind of feel like we have other more pressing matters that God's more concerned with. I chose to go with Proverbs versus anything dealing with any other sensitive topic, like being gay or whatever in the United States, because I feel like there are more pressing moral matters to us in public. And look, as a conservative, I am all about that street justice. I love watching people get karma. I do. I really do. In fact, it's my popcorn and butter. When I hear that a fucking kitty diddler gets put through a fucking wood chipper, it makes my day. both proverbially and literally. I sit there with my fucking popcorn and I pull the fucking Kylo Ren thing from Star Wars where I'm like, more! Um, you know. But at the end of the day, that kind of justice is kind of in God's hands. It's not really my place, nor is it. And if I'm being honest, it's not really our place as American citizens to take the law into our own hands because we voted for the legal system that we have, and the only way that we're going to make our society the way that we want is to actually go out, vote, pound the pavement, and make the society what we want, you know? And yeah, sure, there's going to be corruption and interference from people in high places who don't want, who don't want their own skeletons drug out of the closet, but oftentimes, and I'm not going to exclude myself from that, by the way, if you want to drag my fucking skeletons out because I'm the one sitting here talking, absolutely, drag my skeletons out. I have made my fair share of fuck-ups in the past. But that is behind me, and I do not behave that way anymore because I fucking refuse. It is a constant fight with me on a lot of things. My biggest thing nowadays is staying away from the fucking cigarettes. Oh my god, have I ever been craving a cigarette. But it's something that I need to do for myself, just like I need to get off of my ass more and stop doing, game streams all the time. That's why we're turning Wednesday into an outdoors day. That's why we have the GoPro. Well, the fake GoPro, which is still waterproof and still does the job. I just wish the microphone was a smidgen bit better. Yeah, I was stripping out this floor. But at the end of the day, it's going to be entirely up to the individual to do the right thing on their own, for sure. But at the same time, Christians, especially Christians, we need to start setting the standard for what the right thing is. And if we have people constantly getting thrown in jail because they think it's acceptable to do bad things to, I don't know, to kids or whatever, hitting the news, then guess what's not... I already had one of those. Guess what message isn't getting out? It's the right message. What we have getting out is the wrong message, which is not what we want. Because right now, preachers in the Catholic end of things, sure, it's just a comedian being a comedian. That's fine to have that attitude until you start to realize that comedians make jokes about things that are a social problem to bring attention to that problem. Okay? And the fact that it's a problem at all is what really burns my fucking butter. We should not tolerate in the Christian faith, in any branch of the Christian faith, we should not tolerate anyone who victimizes the innocent like that. It's an abomination before God, and it needs to be treated as such. And by the way, before anyone who knows me gets out there and says anything about, oh, well, you're only saying that because you've done stuff, I'm going to put you through a wood chipper first. I have never once touched a kid inappropriately, nor would I fucking ever. I have kids. Okay? And am I the best dad in the world? Hell no. I'm probably about the worst fucking parent on the planet. But the second I hear that someone laid a hand on any of my kids inappropriately, be it the one that I see every week or the one that I have never been able to even meet, you're going to have someone who's going to make Batman and Frank Castle look like a bowl of cotton fucking candy if I find out anyone even thought of hurting either one of those fucking kids. And I don't care if the second one is mine or not. He's still a fucking kid. You don't do that shit. And I don't care who it is. I don't give a damn if it's the church. I don't give a damn if it's a school. I don't give a damn if it's the law. It's fucking self. If the law is victimizing children, then we burn it to the ground just as well as we would anything else. And we build over the fucking rubble. Plain and fucking simple. And so help me, I don't care. If that particular ex calls me up and says, hey, our presumably your son has just been, assaulted at school, that school better have some pretty damn good fucking insurance, because if I end up getting involved, they're going to wish that they fucking had it. And that's not really a threat so much as it's just a fucking general promise. You're not going to victimize any of my fucking blood. No. Not without there being some pretty serious fucking consequences, one way or the other. And I'm not talking about your generalized SAM insurance either. Oh, no. And by the way, just as a little heads up, that's not just about my kids. That's any kid. If I find out a school is victimizing any child of any sort, in any way, shape, or form, it brings out the worst parts of my personality. We'll put it that way. Which is why when Rich came on here on the Unsubscribed podcast on YouTube and said what he said, I went on Twitter and I said what I had to fucking say about it. And it was more or less along the effects of, I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee, but I'm going to spread it to the people of influence that I don't know personally, but I do have, quote-unquote, access to their profiles on Twitter. And hopefully they do something about it, because I'll tell you what, better they do something about it than me. See, they have the temperament to go out and do things properly, hopefully, and get things done right so they don't happen again. Me, I'm all about that burn it to the ground fucking attitude. You put me in a situation where I'm noticing that people are being, defenseless people are being abused in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not talking about oppressed. I'm talking about actual physical abuse, not your bullshit fucking narrative of, oh, well, they're colored, so they must be oppressed. You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll go find the biggest, darkest skinned dude we can find. We'll put you in a fucking ring with him, and we'll give you a microphone, give you both some boxing gloves, and you can say that shit to his face. How about that? How about that? And you can realize just how fucking ridiculous you sound when he says you sound like the most racist piece of shit on the planet for saying that he's somehow disadvantaged for his fucking skin color and that he can't defend himself. I guarantee you that particular conversation will not go the way that you think it will. And I forgot to have my fiance come in here and do the rest of the construction, but... See, because I know plenty of black folks in my life. I've dated about 4 of them, and got a little bit of giggity activity in with 2 of the 4. I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only. If you tell a black person they're defenseless, you better be ready to defend yourself, because they are not going to take that shit sitting down. I'm not being racist. I'm telling you to your fucking face how it is. They will put you in your fucking place very fucking quickly. And by the way, if you think the males are bad about, putting you in your place about saying they can or can't defend themselves, say it to a black woman sometime. I made the mistake of stepping up for one of them thinking that I was doing the right thing to defend her honor in some way, shape, or form because, old school mentality. I saw a woman being mistreated in front of me and she's my date. That mentality. I got it just as bad as the guy who did it. Okay? And then I was told it was sweet of me to try, but that it wasn't needed. So, I got told I was adorable, basically, and that was the end of that. But, no, that goes back to representation, right? I made that mistake, and fortunately, I made it in a one-on-one, situation where I was trying to defend someone that I was actively dating at the time. And I got the Vegeta, oh, that's adorable kind of treatment. Do not think that black folks need your defense, because they can defend their fucking selves. And they will do so aggressively if need be. And that's not a put down, by the way. That's actually a compliment. I know a lot of white folks that could learn the fucking lesson. And I do mean quite a few of them. Like, they'll roll over and take just about anything that you fucking do to them. And it's kind of stupid. See, what I want to do is I want to automate the kelp. So when it grows to about, like, up top here, a piston cuts these and they feed into this box. And then I'd like to have a system that takes the stuff out of this box and puts it into this box and feeds it into here as, actually, instead of doing all that shit, I could just actively rebuild this system entirely. But yeah, no. As someone who's dated black folk before, let me tell you what, they're some of the best people you'll ever meet. Just don't cross them. Generally speaking, and sometimes that means letting them fuck around and find out on their own. Okay, as much as it pains me to say that, because I've had some really, really good black folk friends, and something's happened in their life, someone got treated poorly, something happened, and, yeah. It just kind of happened that way, unfortunately, to where they had to do things their own way, or they felt they needed to, and stuff happens, It is sad, especially when it's them standing on some kind of business, right? It sucks when I see that, because, they're doing... No, that's not working. Or is it? Because they are doing, you can put saplings. I want to save some of my saplings, but... it does suck when that happens, because, seeing them get jammed up when they're doing the right, they're doing the right thing, but it's not the way that we want it done, kind of thing. That sucks. It really sucks, because I've seen some really good people stand on business and get burned for it. And that's not just black folk, that's everybody. And I've seen white folk get jammed up for standing on business too, and it's not right. Well, number one, it's not right because you shouldn't have to stand on business at all. It should be handled. I feel like we're in a society now where we should be to the point where that kind of business is not needed. And I do mean that, at what point did we decide as a society that watching a kid be a victim was acceptable? Because in my mind, it fucking ain't. It's not. It is completely unacceptable. What we have allowed to happen to our children, our most precious resource, but I hate using the word resource. At what point did we find that it was acceptable for them to be victimized like that? When did we decide that that was okay? Because I sure the fuck did not. I didn't sign that fucking agreement. And I'd like to know who did, so I can, run some fucking rope somewhere. And believe me, when it comes to kids, you can sit there and say, oh, but the law. I don't give a flying fuck what the law says. I give a flying fuck what I know to be right and fucking wrong. And you know what? Victimizing kids is fucking wrong. And you deserve to be strung up for it. Now, on that note, I will give the law credit on one thing. I want absolute fucking proof that a person did a thing. I want beyond a reasonable doubt. Because I'm not really a big fan of stringing up people who are innocent. Now, that being said, if you got off because of some judicial corruption or some other sketchy shit, watch your ass around me. I'm just issuing the warning. It's the same blanket warning I give everybody. If you got off especially if you got off for some sort of judicial fucking shit, like the judge is bought off or some shit, you fucked around. You corrupted the legal system to your own benefit by paying money, and you think that you're going to get away with victimizing the innocent. You, me, and the 2x4 are probably going to have a date at some fucking point. And you better hope that the judicial system fucking corrects itself, because you don't want me to be the one doing the correcting. And it might not even be a 2x4. I might just go good old 5-knuckle Mary and just have some fun with your fucking face. So. Now, if you're legitimately innocent, that's different. Like, if you have legitimately done nothing wrong and the court finds you innocent, then congratulations, you survived. But I am not going to sit here and play the game of, oh, well, the judge said. I don't give a damn what the judge says. I give a damn what the evidence said. A judge can say whatever the fuck he wants. If the evidence says you fucking did it, meaning your fucking stuff is where it ain't supposed to be, your ass is going to find a fucking wood chipper mighty fucking quick. See, here's the thing. I know a little bit about how the prison system works. Family of cops, And there's one thing that I do know. You get into prison and they find out that you're in prison for doing something to a kid. Your life might as well be fucking over, right? But if they find out that you put someone in a fucking bind on the streets because they did something to a kid, and you're in there on account of that, you might as well be a fucking saint, as far as most of the inmates are concerned. But you're still gonna have to, man up and do the shit in prison that you need to do in prison to survive. They're not gonna put you on a pedestal. That's not how they work. But you might find your existence a lot easier in prison than the guy who did the deed against the kid or an animal. So, yeah. You'll probably find your existence to be a great deal easier than the guy who did that. But it still ain't going to be easy. And the best thing to do is, like J.D. DeLay says, be good or be good at it. Now, me personally, I find being good to be the best policy, but, man, there just comes a point in time where eventually you're going to be pushed. And if you can't be pushed without pushing back, you got to be ready to deal with the consequences of pushing back. And fucking with my kids in any way, shape, or form, oh boy. That gives me a little bit more than just an itch to go do a thing. Fortunately, people have been kind of smart enough to acknowledge the warning that I wear on my shirt every day, and I give to them in person when they have an interaction with my kids. Don't fuck with my kids. Just don't. So far, that warning has been enough for people to understand that, I am just fucking psychotic at just enough to where your fucking rights as an individual compared to the safety and well-being of my fucking kids is not gonna, there's not gonna be a comparison if you put my kid in danger in some sort of way, or especially if you victimize my kid. We gonna have words, and them words might be street words, and you might not like what's being said. In fact, there is no might about it. You're not gonna like the way things are said, and you need to do that. And I'm not gonna give a shit. Just like the law is not going to give a shit about the fact that I did it in the first place and why I did it. They're not going to care about motive. They're just going to care that I fucking did it. No one gives a shit about motive anymore. Ooh, poisonous potato. Hey, let's go have some fun with that for a second. I'm going to poison pill a little bit. Alright, wood. Enough of you. Now I'm going to poison pill a little bit. Yo. I'm going to plant the fucking poison potato, you jack. Alright, wood. I didn't place my bed back. You stupid fuck. Well, let's see. If I can remember how to get from spawn to my... I mean, there's enough markers around here of me doing stuff that... making it back there shouldn't be that freaking hard. I've done some pretty massive land stuff. But yeah, standing on principle for a minute, you touch a kid, you, in my mind, at a minimum, losing your fucking hand. You know? Maybe even what identifies you as whatever gender you are. Between your fucking legs should be considered an appropriate punishment. Straight up, that's my opinion. And I do think that's how we need to start standing on business and handling things. It's just that simple. And another thing. I know what I said about the kid that I may have that may be mine. I don't know if he is. And I'm not going to pay for something that I don't know is mine or not. And she hasn't come to me. And I, to be frank, have enough on my plate right now, where I'm trying to have kids and get married and everything else, to where my life has moved in a direction away from her and him, which is unfortunate. If me and her could have handled things better, it would be her that I would be walking down the aisle, but it is not that way. So, you know, and yeah, and I don't know whose kid he is. And I'm not relinquishing a penny until I do, and I'm not going to pursue the matter, because again, I'm living my fucking life. And you all might find that as very scummy or whatever. That's your right. But that is also equally my choice to make. That doesn't make him a victim. That doesn't make me somehow better than her. It's just the way the events fucking transpired. And no, I'm not really too happy about it. I'm not happy about that situation at all. In fact, it's one of the things in my life that a lot of things in my life make me upset. That one burns me to my core. So, oh, I'm gonna lose my stuff before I get back. Fortunately, it wasn't a lot of stuff. I mean, it was stuff, important stuff, but it's stuff that I can recover later if I need to. Actually, I think... Yep. Then my home is literally over on that hill. It's just going to be getting there without dying is going to be the treat. And picking up my stuff, assuming I haven't burned through too much time already. But no, it's one of the things that actually fucking hurts, because I won't ever tell my current wife this, but like when I'm with someone, I'm with someone 100%. And when they do something to fuck up things that bad to where I have to leave, it's the most painful fucking thing ever. And then they turn around and tell me, oh, I'm pregnant. Of course, my mind goes to the whole, and this time I was almost correct, because she's done it before. She had done it before in the past, where she'd said, I'm pregnant, it's yours, to keep me around. Like, somehow that was going to fucking work over and over again. Like, it was the magic, call 0 button. It's just, that's not how it works. If you're gonna use that shit as a constant fucking calling card, you're part of the streets as far as I'm concerned. That's not how that works. You either get me full-time or not at all. And she chose not at all. And that is what I laid down to her. And she chose to do it that way. And, because she's used the pregnancy thing as a form of leverage in the past, I don't care anymore. That's what she did. She pushed me to the point that I don't fucking care anymore in that regard. Now, that being said, he's still a kid, just like her other kid that I had nothing to do with genetically. He was there when I showed up in the first place. If I found out someone was doing something to her other kid, I'd probably beat the fuck out of them for whoever was fucking doing it too, because, kids. I'm very, very protective of children. And, it's kind of ironic, really, because as a goofball fucking kid myself, growing up as a teenager, being stuck babysitting the pastor's kid or whatever, it was just fucking irritating. I hated it so fucking much. But then I, grew into an adult, and it's like, yeah, they're whiny, they're messy, they can be really annoying, but they're also, not just that they're important, they're your kids, especially when they could be your own. But, no, I haven't told my my wife does know, she knows how I am mentally, so she probably already knows this, but, when I'm with someone, I'm fucking with someone. And when things don't work out that way and, people get hurt, you know, it's not that it's more painful for me, it's that it's a pain that never goes away. I still remember my first girlfriends from high school, and it weighs on me. That I could have been better, I could have done better, there's something I could have done different. But with her, things are a little different in that regard because she's the one who fucked that up. I gave her the chance to fix what she'd broke, and, she refused. And what she broke was my ability to trust her to have my back, just in general. And I am going to say what she did 100%. I don't usually drag people, but she accused me of sleeping with my brother's wife, and that's just, no. You broke a high level of trust with that shit. And I don't mean like street brother, I mean like blood. He's my blood brother. She accused me of sleeping with his wife. And we got into it. And then she accused me of sleeping with other women too. And I'm like, the only other women that I know in your immediate vicinity is like 20, 30 miles away in another town. And she don't want nothing to fucking do with me. The only time she shows up for anything when I call her is when I have something with that magical word free next to it. And I don't mean as in free D's nuts. I mean like free fucking game systems and shit. That's the only time she shows up. She's not really a friend so much as I have shit I have to get rid of and I know I can call her and she'll take it. Poor choice of words, but her and her husband are usually the first people that I call when I have something that I don't need anymore because they have little kids and I know that, they don't have, I mean, they have, they have means of their own. I'm not saying that they're defenseless or whatever. I'm saying that, I'm more willing to give them stuff for their kids that I don't need anymore or whatever. It just is what it is. It's how you look out for people that you know. She's a person that I know, and I know her husband too. He works pretty local to where I'm at right now, but, yeah, they're friends. They're not that way. They've never been that way. And the fact that she accused me of being that way with one of them is fucking disgusting. And I explained that to her before she even made that accusation. And she made it anyway, so it's just kind of a moot point. And it pushed me over an edge that she could have recovered from. And when I gave her the chance to recover from it, she refused to take the out that I gave her. And it wasn't like a fucking obscured out. It was blatantly obvious that I was giving her an out. Like, all she had to do was say, hey, I didn't realize I was running my mouth in a bad way. I gave her that, and all she had to do was apologize. She wouldn't even fucking do that. She wouldn't even fucking do that. Not even for a second. And that's what feminism does. It says I don't have to fucking apologize even when I fuck up. Well, I got a newsflash for you there, sweetheart. When you fuck up, and you have to apologize, just like every fucking one else does. And I am not going to stand by and be treated like shit and be emotionally abused by someone who's not at least going to give me a fucking apology after the fact. No. Because I know my fucking self-worth. And I know I'm worth more than that. And that's not ego talking. That's not me saying, oh, I'm a billionaire. No, that's me standing on business and telling you how it fucking is. You're not going to stand there and treat me like shit. I have a kid of my own. You stood there and told me that I needed to respect you in front of your kids. Well, guess what? If you can't respect me in front of your kids, I can't expect you to respect me in front of our kids. Okay? And if you're going to cause that kind of a fight in front of a kid who was supposed to have been my stepson, then I can't expect you to respect me in front of my daughter. And that's just standing on business. That 100%, if you're going to be that level of from the streets, then you can go back to the streets. I wish you the best. I really do. But you will not be a part of my life. Ever. and any kid that we may have had or may not have had. Well, it's called Facebook, and if he ever gets curious to look me up someday, he's more than welcome to. You, on the other hand, no. You are not. So, you know what? I gave you every chance in the fucking book. All you had to do was say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Or well, yeah, you did mean to. You said exactly what you meant. I'm sorry, that's just how I felt, and I was wrong. That's all you had to say. But you were too proud to come to me and show even just a little bit of respect at that point in time. So, no, I'm not going to give you the time of day, okay? You can ask for whatever you want, but you're not going to get it from me, ever. And it's gotten to the point now to where I'm just not even really willing to live in the same state as you because of what you did. You don't accuse someone of shit like that. That's not okay. So. But it's also my fault because I thought that I could get with someone who votes fucking Democrat and knew exactly how the fuck they behaved. And yeah, I guess in that regard I am to blame, but like, there's only so much blame that's my fault, you know? I wish there was an activator switch for the fucking composter. Actually, I wish we had an auto composter. But I might look into a farm for doing that part of things, because I'd like to just be able to have infinite bone meal. So. But no, that's the big tragedy in my fucking life right there, is the fact that I may or may not have a son that may or may not be mine, and I will never know. And I did it to myself, so. It's one of those things that we call a self-inflicted tragedy, and it's not really a tragedy so much as it is you fucked up, and now, you know, now karma's making you pay the bitch of a price of you'll never know. It is what it is. I'm not going to focus on it anymore because it's not healthy. It's not healthy to sit there in that depressive state, and I'm just not going to do that to myself. And it might very well make me the scumbag in this story. So be it. If I'm the scumbag, then I'm the scumbag in that story. And I did set the bed, I just didn't use the respawn point to set. That was my fault. But, you know, there's just going to be some men out there who call me a scumbag, who say that I'm dirt. I am, in fact, from the streets because I'm making that decision for myself and my kids. Dude, you're entitled to your fucking opinion. Now that you've made it known, can you politely fuck off? So, you know. Hey, you know what? That's the thing about opinions, too. Like, everyone's got them and they all fucking stink. They're just like assholes that way. So. Now, like I said, though, you know, that being said, I might be on the dark side of this particular fucking event, but if anyone touches any of those fucking kids, I'll come out of the fucking dark like fucking Batman with a fucking vengeance and no fucking limitations. And you will know what fucking fear is. So, don't fuck with those kids. Don't you fucking dare. I might be an asshole for not being there or whatever the fuck you want to say. but you'll find out just how quickly I can be fucking there. And will be. One word from her about someone fucking with those kids. She may have broken my trust as far as our relationship goes, but all she has to do is show me one picture of one of those kids even remotely being hurt. And oh boy, you're going to see a part of my personality you wish you never even knew existed. Cuz I will make your life hell. At any fucking expense. It'll be a spared no expenses trip to, oh fuck, I fucked upsville. You'll wish you had gone to Jurassic Park. That's how spared no expense things are gonna fucking get. So. And that applies to the one that ain't mine. As well as the one that I don't know if it's mine or not. If he's mine or not. That goes for any kid. You fuck with any kid. You're nope. You better hope I'm not in your fucking proximity. Yeah, that'll get rid of some of the garbage out of my inventory. Oh, but they're flowers. You can use them for dyes. I'm not the one who does the dyes. And there's enough flowers around this frailing complex that if my fiance wants to make dyes, she can. Fiance, soon to be wife. We're actually getting married next month, and we are working towards having a kid of our own. So this time we're doing things the right way this time, because I tried to do things the other way, and guess what happened both times? I got fucked. And not in the fun way, not in the, well, I mean, it did in the fun way too, but not in a good way. There was a lot of bad that happened with that, and I'm not really the most thrilled fucking person about that fact. So, no, there's just some things in this world that exist in a way, and I don't think they should exist, and they piss me off to no end, and I do know that there are other people out there trying to do things about it. JD Delay, the guys at the Unsub Podcast versus the Buffalo School District. All this stuff is kind of coalescing on fixing the problem. The thing is that I have no influence. I can be a bug in someone's fucking ear doing the buzz, buzz, buzz. Like, I can go on Twitter and tag, Donald Trump Jr., Donald Trump, Elon Musk, or whatever towards this fucking issue. But the reality is, and I'm going to be honest, 90% of the time, I don't feel like they even read what I put up there. I think it's just like something that they see that they have a notification, and they click the notification button just to get the notification symbol to go away. Like, I legitimately feel that way a lot of the time. And I don't know if that's necessarily the truth. It could be dead wrong, right? But no, I just, it does weigh on me a little bit, because I know that I don't have any sort of influence, and a lot of people out there, because of the things that I've done in my past, would sit there and say, you don't deserve it, and I'd probably, if I were them, I'd stand on business and say they were right. But at the same token, there are some things that I have to speak up about, and I'm going to say it, and this is going to get me in trouble. I have no reason to doubt angry cops, Rich or Die, whatever name you want to issue him by. I know him as Angry Cops. I'd love to know him as Rich. I'd love to have, I'll be honest, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'd love to have him bust through my fucking door and whoop my ass and then whoop me into shape. I'm not going to fucking lie. I would love to have someone there like him with a fucking bullwhip telling me to move my fucking ass. Because it's what I need. It is. Legitimately, straight up, going to tell you the way that it is. I'm a lazy fuck. And when I get up to do something, things have gotten to a certain point. And when it came to the whole Buffalo School District thing, I actually had to have my fiance take the keys from our vehicle from me because I was ready to get in that fucking car and start stomping answers out of fucking people in New York until people started telling the fucking truth. Fuck the legal system. I was ready to just start. It was just gonna be, I'm gonna start at your fucking feet and break your fucking feet, and then I'm gonna work my way up, and then I'm gonna work on your fucking arms until you spill every fucking thing. And I knew that because I know something about the school districts. Okay, and this is not just New York. This is nationwide because my stepmother is a school teacher. Schools are encouraged to hide this shit because if they reveal it, they don't just it's not a matter of losing their funding, it's a matter of their fucking street cred, basically. And by that I mean their credibility as a school. The higher that number of incidents is, it makes them look bad apparently to the rest of the the teachers unions and shit. And it makes teachers not want to go there because it makes them look like they're in a high crime area, which means that less people want to show up there, which is fucking bullshit. That tells me that those teachers that think that way are just there for the fucking paycheck. They're not there to educate kids. They don't actually care about the next generation. They just want to get fucking paid. They also have sexual assault and molestation insurance called SAM insurance. So basically, if they keep their fucking mouth shut, the insurance pays out. But the more it pays out, the more they have to pay back into it. And that comes out of their fucking budget. It's called a deductible, and they do actually have to pay that. Fun fact. So therefore, it's better for them to say we had nothing to do with it, blah, 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 blah. And them covering it up is just because it makes them, if it doesn't get out and get brought to the public's attention, it makes them look better because then they don't have to deal with the issue. Then it's not their issue. That's why they pay out settlements to families to keep their mouths shut. Well, no, that's not fucking right. You need to be going... I think that this is how it needs to be handled, and this is my opinion. If you don't want the family to speak out publicly, that's fine. But I think that the court case needs to be dictated about whether it's public or not by the judge. In cases that involve schools. And the reason I think that is because I don't think that a school should have to pay the price of some freak grabbing a kid and running off unless they legitimately let it happen and watched it fucking happen. Like, if you're a staff member, if you have a staff member who's just standing there doing this all fucking day while some kids get snatched in the fucking dooryard, then yeah, your school needs to be dragged through the fucking mud. But if it happens, and it can happen without the school knowing about it until it's too fucking late, then that should not be on the school, right? No, that needs to be tacked on to the freak who fucking did it in the first fucking place. And they need to be hit as hard as they fucking can. I would say both legally and not legally speaking. I think that they need to be put in prison, and then while they're in prison, some prison inmate needs to find a fucking sledgehammer and take whatever gender they are and fucking crush whatever they have that makes them identify as that fucking gender. And yes, I know what that means for a woman too. I'm sorry. And a lot of people are going to take this fucking that's disgusting approach to this, but I think if you're a woman who victimizes kids, I think that you should be crushed with a sledgehammer until you can't reproduce. And if it kills you, oh well. Accidents happen. And the same thing goes for the man too. I'm not going to parse my fucking words here. I'm not calling anyone to violence. It's just what I think should happen to you. That is my personal opinion. That is my personal take. I think that you deserve the worst physical fucking punishment ever. And you know what? I'll say it right now. If anyone ever told me that in my lifetime I committed an offense against a minor as an adult, I'm going to tie myself to the fucking bed. And before I do, I'm going to make a phone call to someone. And I'm going to hand them the fucking knife. And tell them to end it. And that's straight up. That's it. Right there. Okay? Notwithstanding my situation with my ex, that's between us. As far as I'm concerned, that's still working itself out, and it's probably never going to work itself out. But that is the way that it is. That's life. Not everything works out the way that it should. If it did, I wouldn't even be saying what I'm saying right now, because every person who touches or does something bad to kids like that would be dead. Like, they'd be struck by fucking lightning the second the thought occurred to them to do it in the first place. Like, outright, God would be punishing thought crimes. In my opinion, that's how it would be handled. But we don't live in a perfect world. And that is the only thing that keeps me fucking sane every day, is the fact that we don't live in a perfect world. And I know that. And I am angry that we don't. Because in a perfect world, I'd be... And I don't mean this to say that I want my daughter's mother back, but in a perfect world, we never would have split. But again, we don't live in a perfect world. And I don't want my ex's current husband to think that I'm trying to get my ex back. That's not what I'm saying. In a perfect world, she would have never been my ex. And yeah. What I'm saying is that he would have never had the opportunity to marry her in the first place in a perfect world. And that's going to sound really hurtful to someone who is a very dear friend of mine, very close friend of mine. But I'm just speaking the truth about things being perfect versus not. I'm not implying shit. And yes, her husband is a very close friend of mine, and you know, I didn't even know who he was before me and her broke up, by the way, just so people can understand that, you know, this is just someone that she chose over me. You know, he's just a good dude. He's a solid dude, okay, who I know will treat my kid right. And I also know that if he wasn't, she wouldn't be there. Like 100%. She would. She's just as stand on business as I am. In fact, I'd argue that she's more stand on business than I am. So, you know, and I see, and I know that this is not logically how it works, but in my mind it is. I see his daughter as my niece, and if anyone ever even thought a wrong thought about her, they'd deal with him first, and if there was anything left, I'd be the dog chewing on the fucking bones that were left. Put it that way. That little girl deserves the best in the world, and anyone who doesn't give her that, they better hope he gets to her before I get to them. I'll put it that way. I will be the flaming sword of vengeance if I fucking need to be. I will light your fucking world on fire. No. I will light you up like yesterday's fucking birthday candles and watch as the wind blows your ashes out. Put it that way. You do not ever, no. My family's been through that shit enough, and it's to the point where anyone even remotely connected to my family, if you're connected to my family at all, enough's the fuck enough. This world's corruption and disgust, it disgusts me, and the fact that it could have infected me just pisses me off that much more. Okay? Like, this world's fucking filth can stay in its own fucking lane. Okay? I can't. I will not. No. I'll let my sister tell her own fucking story at some point, but when she's ready. and that'll be on her time. But she is the reason I am this way. I will say that. And before people say, "Oh well, then you're not right in the head," blah blah blah. I'm gonna stop you right there. Not right in the head is the fact that I know that that level of perversion exists in my family. And I know it does because we've all heard the fucking stories. Okay? We know which family members were that way. And we have had to live with them in our family because, legally speaking, they haven't done anything wrong. And we can't do anything about it. But we don't actively associate with them. They're not, like, yeah, they're family because we have to be family, genetically speaking. They're not the ones that we sit with at the family reunion table. In fact, we go out of our way to avoid those people. And that's just that. You know. And yeah, sure. Oh, that's not very Christian. I don't give a fuck. You want forgiveness for touching a kid? Go pray to God about it. You want forgiveness for that? Go to church, go pray. And you know what? I will say something. I will. There is a group of people, okay? And I know they exist because I've met more than a few of them, okay? They did at one point in time have thoughts like that. And they still might, right? But they'll never act on it because of one reason or another. Most of the time, they've been to fucking prison. And they got stomped every fucking day they were there. I would not trust them with my kid. I would not trust them around any kid. But at least they got it beat into them that that fucking behavior is not acceptable. That's the only fucking thing that I will say about that. Now, that being said, there's no level of really anything that they can do that will allow me to say, you know, they should be allowed around kids or whatever. I think that 100% that's just the way it needs to fucking be. If you victimize the fucking kid, you need to die, in my opinion. But that's not the way the law works. That's not the way the law sees things. That's one of those things that I'm going to disagree with the law on until the day that I die. Okay? I think pedophiles of any nature, I think there needs to be a hell of a lot of scrutiny on it for sure. But I think they need to, you know, gas chamber. Straight up gas chamber. I'm not going to stand on just accusations leading to the death sentence. This is not going to, no. That's not going to fly with me because I'm a very much a law kind of guy. You better be able to prove what you're fucking accusing someone of. 100%. You know, I'm not going to condemn a man to death on the word of another and just take it at their fucking word. That's not how I roll. But, that being said, if you have been found guilty and there's plenty of reasonable evidence to support your fucking guilt, hang 'em high, hang 'em quick, and get it over with. I'm actually going to leave this open, and we're going to build around it. But no, I'm not a without evidence kind of guy. I will never just take someone at their word when it comes to like executions and shit. Because I know false accusations happen all the time, and a false accusation should never lead to a false execution. Okay? That's just like, that's my Law and Order sense, basically. Kicking in and saying, yeah, you did, you done fucked up, right? So, But I'm not gonna sit there and execute a guy who's walking through a grocery store and some lady is shoulder to shoulder and some lady gets her rump brushed up on and screams, "He inappropriately touched me" or some shit, and it's just a dude reaching for a Snickers bar. That guy doesn't deserve shit. She deserves to, have her mouth washed out with fucking soap, but, you know, he didn't do it on fucking purpose, lady. So, how about we all just fucking calm down? And, especially if you know he didn't do it, like the guy, you can literally see it on a camera. The guy didn't fucking do it. She's just running her fucking mouth. The thing I hate more than when it really fucking happens is the false accusations of people who want to try to do wrong to others. And yes, it does happen. And I hate it. 100% fucking hate it when it does. It shouldn't happen, but it does. And that's the consequences of being in the law and order system, is that there's always going to be someone who's going to try to exploit the system. And I think that those people need to be punished when they try it. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep. If you try to fuck the system over by, manipulating something to try to gain advantage over someone else, and you abuse the system in that way, you deserve everything that's coming to you. In the worst possible fucking way. Yep. And I have no sympathy for you when you fucked around. When the find out stage comes in, no, there's not going to be any pity for me. So, and don't come looking for it, because you're not going to get any. Nope. In fact, actually, you could argue that that's the same mentality that I had about my ex, that I may or may not have a kid with. She fucked around, and she's finding the fuck out. I will not be accused of that shit. And it is literally because I've had members of my family guilty and victimized by that shit before. And it's precisely that fucking reason that I will not play that fucking game. And I told her about that the day that we fucking met, and she did it anyway, so fuck her. She can stay in the hole that she belongs in. Not to say she's not hardworking, because she was, but she was fucked in the head, and I should have seen the fucking signs, but stupid me. When you sign up with someone that you think you can trust them, and then they knife you in the fucking back. That was my knife in my back. Yep. Huh. Just goes to show, be careful who you fucking trust in this world, right? Make sure you can actually fucking trust them. For sure. A lesson I thought I had learned and I thought I was abiding by, but if you're gonna accuse me of being a certain level of fucking scumbag that I'm obviously not being, but yet you're still gonna run your mouth about that anyway and act like I am gonna be that way, then you don't deserve to be around me, you don't deserve my time of day, nor do you deserve any of my fucking resources for that matter. I don't give a damn who says what. Yep, the cobblestone mill. Now, do I feel bad that that kid is probably never going to know who his dad is? Oh, sure. It's terrible. It's god awful. But, you know what? Until things change, which they probably won't because I'm getting married next month and my life is taking a different turn than hers. Um, she chose to be streetsy, and that's not the life for me. That's not the life for my kids. And that's the way it is. I just won't live that way, and nor will my kids. And the fact that she's choosing it for her kids is just, it's fucked up. Like, why would you? You live in a literal white suburbia fucking paradise, and yet you're choosing to let your kids live on the fucking streets. What the fuck's wrong with you? No. The world will never fucking know. Well, I know what it is. It's that white liberal bullshit, basically. There's no fucking common sense. But, you know. We all know how that shit rolls, too. Right down fucking hill. And, by the way, I've heard that you're just rationalizing fucking child abandonment or whatever. No. Kind of hard for me to abandon someone when... how do you abandon someone when you were never there to begin with? Sorry. That is the reality. I wasn't there when the kid was born. I wasn't there. I doubt I was there for the conception, if I'm being honest. But that's not. That's something that is yet to be determined. You know. You know, I legitimately have my doubts about being the kid's dad. And that's kind of the hell I live with, because I'm not sure. I wasn't with her all the time. I had to work. I had a job. And she had plenty of time to do it, and she accused me of fucking doing it. And I have no reason to believe that she has enough evidence to say that she didn't. And she can get as mad and offended as she wants, but logically speaking, I have no reason to trust her at this point, because she violated my trust in that way. By accusing me of doing that with my brother's wife is just not acceptable. No. I mean, sure, she wasn't his wife at the time, but the principle still holds. They had a kid together. That's street shit. I don't do street shit like that. Like, that kind of shit might be okay in her fucking head, but no. No. And I wouldn't. By the way, I'm going to say that. I wouldn't either. I know I brought it up quite a bit, but, like, to be honest, I'm not going to stick my jerky where my brother had his, number one. Number two, they have a family together. I'm not going to fuck that up. And I'm not trying to be insulting to my brother, but I really don't need to, and nor does anyone else. They have their own fucking problems that they need to deal with on their own fucking time, right? And occasionally, sure, he comes to me with guy issues, right? And that's fine. He's my fucking brother. But there's a level of trust between me and my brother that I'm not going to fuck up, okay? By being from the fucking streets. No. He's my brother. I have his trust, and I'm not going to do shit to fucking violate that. I don't fucking operate that way. And people who do, I think those people are fucking scum. I won't even give them the benefit of calling them from the fucking streets. They're just fucking scumbags. They're not playa. Game is game. No, fuck you. You're a scumbag. Go away. You're not welcome here. You're an amoral fuckwit who needs to get his ass beat. That's what you are. You're not a playa. You're not fucking nothing. You're a fucking joke. You're literally the sickness that's destroying our fucking world right now. And you deserve to be treated as such. So, I said what I fucking said. If you wanted your feelings to be massaged or your ego to feel better, you came to the wrong fucking place, scumbag. And you know what? God help me, sure. My brother has good taste in women. As far as physical appearance goes, as far as attitudes and mentality goes, dude needs to go back to school. Sorry, bro, but you gotta go back to school. But no, I don't do that. You don't do that to people that you trust. You don't do that to people that you love. You don't do that to people that you even like or respect even a little bit. You do that to no one because it's a fucking asinine thing to do. And people who do that shit are from the fucking streets and not the good part of the streets. Not the part that's going to beat a child molester. I mean the part of the streets that usually ends up becoming one. I said what I fucking said. But yes, because of something that happened to a family member, I despise with every fiber of my fucking being anyone who even looks the wrong way towards a fucking kid. And that's not gonna change. No. You can't change that level of fucking hate. And you know what? I'm okay with being that hateful towards those fucking people. Because in my mind, they're not people, they're fucking animals, okay? And they deserve the fucking butchering that they get. And that's just my opinion. Again, not calling anyone to do it. I wish the fucking state would, but they won't. They won't, and I'll tell you why they won't. They won't do it because a lot of them are in that fucking group of people who deserve to be fed first into a fucking wood chipper without an anesthetic. So, and I don't give a damn what politician's going to come out here and say, I vehemently oppose that opinion. I don't give a damn. Usually the ones doing the opposing are the ones that are just as fucking guilty of it as the person being actively fed into the fucking wood chipper at this very second. You know, sucks to suck, but it's the truth. You know. And I know that there's a subclass of fucking quote-unquote human beings that claim to hate fucking pedos, but they're just a pedophile in disguise. I got a newsflash for you. The only reason I ain't lit one of them on fucking fire yet is because I know for a fact that I'm going to be put in fucking jail the second that I do. And there's one that I'd like to light on fucking fire in particular. More so than the rest. But I can't. No, I literally, I can't do it. Because the second that I do something like that, the one kid that I have that I do get to see, because I'm actually on speakable terms with her mother, I'll never see her again. And I know that because I'll be branded as a psychopath and, you know, it'll just be used against me to keep me from my kid, who is my daughter. And I just, no. I don't get to stand on that kind of business at this point in time because of just the facts being the facts. I have an ex who has my daughter, and if I do something like that, it'll be called fucked up psychotic behavior, and, the courts will use it to deprive me of any rights to my kids and reopen the fucking case so that way they can start going after me for even more shit. Because I've spoken up against the state before, they're literally just fucking itching for a reason, and there's just no point to... I'm not going to give them a fucking reason. So while I'd like I would love nothing more than to watch him burn, I can't. And unless nature does it herself, I'll never get the satisfaction of watching that evil son of a bitch fucking burn. So, at least not in this world. That's for sure. And, there's a certain level of bonding between brother and sister that when something fucked up like that happens to one of them, it can affect the other one quite a bit. And a lot of the times, and this is going to sound sick, but sometimes it happens in such a way that the sibling can end up being an offender themselves. Look, there's only one way I'm going to offend in any way, shape, or form close to that. And it's because I'm going to take a fucking razor-bladed baseball bat and shove it up his fucking leather Cheerio. And he's going to be fully dressed when I fucking do it. Legitimately, I'm going to shove that thing so fucking hard up his ass. He's going to be fully clothed, and it's just going to pierce right through the rest of his fucking body. And then I'm going to take the rest of the baseball bat, attach it to a fucking stick, and literally plant it in the front fucking yard as a fucking warning. And if that earns me the fucking leather Cheerio taker fucking award, I will take that. 100%. Because I know for a fact that I just Vlad the Impaler my fucking enemy. And yes, I do see him as my enemy. I see him as trash. I don't even see him... Actually, no. I don't see him as an enemy. I see him as garbage that needs to be fucking disposed of. And I'm more than happy to fucking light the incinerator. But that's my little fucking rage page for the day. And I am actually legitimately, what makes me so angry about all of this is the fact that I'm the one that gets told he has to sit down, shut up, and let the law do its fucking job. And that pisses me off because after 7 fucking years after raping a 6-year-old, he's allowed to walk free. And yet, if I go anywhere near him, I go to fucking prison. What kind of fucking system is that? Oh, one that protects the fucking pedophile. Oh, but suspects have rights too. Not if they've been found fucking guilty, you fucking asshole. Not in my fucking head. And let me tell you what I fucking care about. I don't give a damn about your fucking advocation for fucking rights and shit. When it comes to people like them, they have no fucking rights. They're fucking animals. They deserve the butchering that's coming. No different than fucking cattle. No different than the fucking pig that turned into my fucking bacon this morning. Which I haven't had yet, actually. That's probably why I'm on a fucking rampage. Verbally speaking. But I'm also going to say that religiously speaking, I do have to admit that the Bible is right. Revenge is God's, not mine. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to behave my fucking self because I fucking have to. Not because I want to, but because I'm told that I don't have a fucking choice in the matter. And if I want to fuck his day up, the best way I can do that is to just sit back and watch. And I have to just accept the fact that as much as I'd love to go get some Frank Castle-ish justice on his ass does not mean that I get that. I will never see that. And as appealing as that fucking sounds, unfortunately for me, that kind of justice doesn't really stand the test of time, really. And there is a very slippery slope that is attributed to it as well. So you want to execute the pedophile. Okay, that's fine. So at what point does executing the pedophile become executing the jaywalker? That's kind of where that's at. Like, I get it. I understand why we have limitations on what we can and can't do. I'm not stupid. But at the same time, a pedophile is a pedophile and a jaywalker is a jaywalker. They're two separate fucking things. And as long as you just apply just that one thing to that one thing, you're fine. I mean, the second you go overboard with it, you know, like you start actually executing jaywalkers, then you have an issue. But I don't see where the issue is before that point, personally. In fact, I think it's just an attempted justification of leniency towards people who prey upon children, and I think that's fucking disgusting. So, there you go. There you go. That's exactly where I'm at. Leniency towards child victimizers is fucking disgusting. You're a repulsive fucking human being if you allow such a thing, and if you advocate for it, you deserve the hellfire that's coming your way. So, and I think we need to take, as a society online, we need to take more hardline approaches against these people who want to allow this shit. And I think we need to be more verbose against it, meaning we need to speak out against it more. And you're not going to change my mind about that, because we do need to speak out against it more. It needs to be stopped 100%, and anyone involved in it in the worst end, well, I guess they get the worst end of the stick now, don't they? But that's my opinion, and I am going to stand by my opinion. And I just made sticks out of wooden planks like a dumbass when I have all that bamboo. Whatever. No, 100% stand by my opinion on that. If you victimize kids, you deserve whatever hell is coming your way. I'll never understand that behavior, nor do I fucking want to. What I understand is my desire to burn you alive is, well, quite intense. And whenever I see these cases pop off online, I'm waiting for someone, you know, me personally, I'm looking like, okay, so they did a bad thing. Where's the bug zapper? That's literally what I think whenever I see these cases pop off online, because I'm ready to pop my fucking popcorn and just watch them fry. The problem is that in liberal-run fucking hellholes like Maine, New York, fucking California, you'll never get that kind of justice ever, because they're a bunch of fucking pussies. They would rather enable the behavior than correct it, put it that way. They would rather enable people, you know, diddling kids than they would actually put a stop to it. Which is fucking disgusting. And that's the government that we live with. They'd rather watch a pedophile go to fucking therapy than neuter the fucking filthy beast. So. Yep. And I am going to say something. Islam may allow pedophilia, and it's wrong. That's disgusting, right? But there's another element to it that people don't realize is that in their culture, you can get married at the age of like fucking 6, which is disgusting. Actually, it's like 12. But actually, I think they dropped it to 9 now, which is even more fucking gross. But here's kind of my point. A lot of the stuff that we have happened here in the U.S., a lot of things that happen to kids happen outside of marriage. And while this is going to be like the most hypocritical thing I've ever fucking said, right? Like utterly the most hypocritical thing I could ever say because of how my lifestyle, how I've chosen to live my life, makes it utter hypocrisy, right? Sex outside of marriage, bringing back the death sentence for that would be a real surefire way to end all the pedophiles in the United States. And the reason for that is that legally speaking in the US, you can't marry someone under a certain age. And if you have sex with someone outside of marriage, i.e. even if they are underage, bringing back stoning to death would be a really good way to deal with that now, wouldn't it? Guess what wouldn't be happening? That, or there'd be a lot of fucking stonings happening. But I digress. To be honest, though, and like probably the most conservative take here, as someone who's had sex outside of marriage, can I just say that it was the worst fucking mistake I ever made? Not because I had a kid outside of wedlock. My daughter is like the apple of my eye. One of the apples of my probably very many eyes at this point. But because the mother obviously wasn't the right one. See, I can hate the mom and love the child. Absolutely, I am that fucking guy. 100%. You know. Magnus, sit and stay. Come here. Come here, buddy. No, you come here. Sit and stay. Right now. Up here. Let's go. Sit and stay. Yeah, but it's getting to be that time. Come here. No. Don't you shake your head at me. Get up here. Come here.
They had a problem with the truck.
Yeah. Then they have a problem with the truck. Wrong button. Anyway,
Not even the guy left in a white truck.
so then he's barking at nothing.
So he's backing it now.
He's barking at nothing because I have him on his lead in case Terry and Gina show up. So, which is fine. Hey, little dude, want to come say hi to people? Want to come say hi? Move off. Yeah. Him's my baby boy right now. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah. Might have a little brother or sister here before long. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Be about a year. Maybe 2. Hey, come on, dude. Come on, man. Alright. Gotta clean up some of this extra wood. You know. Actually, I kind of need to... We'll delete that. I'm gonna make a... I'll grab the pickaxe real quick, because I have something I do have to do to both of those farms, actually. Man, I wish I had some coal. Yeah, I'd like to make some... You know what? Maybe I can make some glass. We have a lot of kelp. And... What? How are you here? Like, I'm not even kidding. How are you down here? Okay. Can I just get... No. Actually, I'm gonna just get up on top here and go around. And actually, that is not gonna have the effect that I want it to. Not at all. Oh, man. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that that's a very loss leading type of thing. Okay. How are you guys getting in to my base? How? How the are you guys doing it? Where? Nope. From there. I did not understand that at all. Heck, I still don't. I'm gonna go down there and there's gonna be a friggin' zombie or a skeleton or something. Or a creep, or worse, a creeper, and he's gonna fuck up my farms. I'm not gonna know where the fuck he's coming from, so I can't put a stop to it. God, that's so much loss. Not... No, that doesn't lose shit. Hmm. Question. Hmm. I think we're going to supersize this. I might have to do that one off stream because that is going to be one hell of a farm build. But I do have enough room up top to do it. Okay. Well, let's go up here and do a dirt outline. Maybe. Maybe I don't have to. Okay, so let's see. Let's do a little bit of calculating here. Dude? Okay, so if you put that, and a sand block in the middle, okay, that is the basic level of what you need for that. Now, if you put a dispenser here with a hopper going into it, and a composter here, and that means that whatever farm you do for the sugarcane is going to have to be at this level. Okay. So effectively the end result, the chest that ends here, is going to have to feed into this composter hopper dispenser combo. Okay, so the end result chest for that, the hopper for it, I'm going to put it above, and the chest for it is going to have to be here. Which means that any sort of track or whatever is going to have to be at this height. Okay. So. That is a dropper, not a dispenser. That's not what you want to make. Okay, so I can make the dispenser. And I can make the composter just to kind of give an idea as to what we're working towards. I don't have the iron to get the droppers ready, and I don't have the stuff to do the rest of that. Okay. And that's going to have to connect to a burnout torch, which I will construct over here. This just can be walled off. You don't need anything on this side at all. No, because you're going to have this here. You're going to have an observer. Actually, you need to have a block there because you need to put the piston there. And the observer needs to be, I'm going to say right about there. On top of that stone block. And then this just needs to be sealed off with glass and a hopper right there. And then you need to come over here. And you're going to need to put a hopper there with another hopper chest. Pointing it into that, and hopefully the composter will auto-compost, because if not, I'm going to have to stand here and do it manually, which sucks. But that's okay, because I'll just have it set up so this is open, so from the side I can just sit here and just auto-click if I need to. But you're going to need a sugarcane farm to create the bone meal that'll go into here. So, okay. And that'll create an infinite amount of bamboo. And it'll just be easier to work with. Now, the bamboo farm is kind of, or well, not the bamboo, but the sugarcane farm is kind of where the point of contention is going to be. Because there's like 30 different sugarcane farms that are automated, similar to the one that I have down there. You have better performing versions of it. I just don't know. I'd like to have the one that gets the most bamboo and loses the loses as little as possible. So there's that too. And I am going to leave these down here like this because they have other uses as well. These are good for individual components, whereas this one's going to be for specifically just for bamboo stuff. You know. If you know, you know. Oh, boy. Okay. You know what? Actually, it would probably behoove me just to run it that way anyway. Oh, I can't believe that. I lost my buckets again. I'm gonna have to go mining for some more iron later to get more buckets so I can use this setup. Oh, nope. I had buckets right there. Good. You know what? I think we're gonna build another box. And the box is just gonna be for a bucket. Actually, what does it take to make an item frame? I haven't made one before. Heck, I don't even know where the item frame... I don't even know what the recipe for an item frame looks like. Actually. I've never used it. Never once. But, I mean, with a chest, I can put as many buckets in there as I want, so... Alright, now I need to make some food, assuming I don't already have some. I don't want to use that. Not yet. And I am not eating a poisoned potato. There we go. Not crying, you're crying! Kidding, I'm just having some weird allergies today. I'm just glad it's starting to solve itself. I thought it'd never happen. No, straight up. I'll be honest. If you ended up being my kid and she came for me for child support, we'd have that discussion, right? Like, no shit. But we'll never have that discussion. Because she'll never come to my doorstep. And again, if I had the money to prepay it in advance, yeah, I would. Sure. I'd pony up $200,000 into an account, releasable at $100 a week. Or whatever it is for monthly. Sure. See, that's just it. Like, the money isn't the issue. It's what the money does that's the issue, right? Like, and I feel like that's where people get a little lost in the weeds. And me and a trans friend of mine had a conversation about this a while ago because, like, I may or may not have made a joke about a few things, and they may have gotten the wrong impression about my intentions, but, like, we were just having a philosophical, debate about, about what's more important, the money or what the money does. And in reality, it's what the money does. It is, 100%. It is about feeding your family and yourself. 100%. That is the important thing about money, is being able to do that. Anything outside of that, if you're making ends meet in another way, you're fine, right? Like, okay, here's my problem with child support, okay? It's not compatible with a subsistent lifestyle. That's my problem with it. 100% is my issue with it. So if I'm out there hunting, fishing, or whatever, well, I can't just show up to my ex's house with, a quarter of a fucking deer, throw it in her freezer, and I've supported my child. They have food for months. That's not how it works. They want financial calculations and shit, which is not how subsistent lifestyles work. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make money in a subsistent lifestyle. Oh, sure. Sew up a pair of gloves and sell them for $100. You know, handcrafted leather, you know, deer leather, deer fur gloves could sell for quite a bit, I'm sure. But, like, that should not be your primary reliance on the money. And that's the problem I have. If they would make it so you could do, like, let's say I showed up one week with a half a deer, right? And that half a deer, I don't know the exact calculations of how much that would be. That depends on the weight of the deer, how many kids or how many people you're feeding in the house, and all that other stuff. But let's just go hypothetical and say it was good for 6 months, right? Well, I've just provided 6 months worth of food. How do you calculate that into child support? You don't, because according to the state, that's not child support. Child support is financial only, and that's where I have a fucking problem with it. I think that there's more support, better support, that I can offer my kids that are not financial. Plain and simple. Number one is being there, but, you know, sometimes... I'm not going to get into that particular rodeo, but, like, no, 100%. Like, you know, and if I get jammed up for defending my kid from some freak, I think that that should go towards the fact that I supported my fucking child. Because I did it in the literal sense of the phrase, not the financial. The problem with the legal system is that they're only focused on the financial. Is the only thing they care about, and that's the fucking problem. 100% of the problem. But again, that's just like, that's my take, right? Like, and I agree with this to the extent that I think that if you live a subsistent lifestyle, I think that you should have a special hunting and fishing license that is labeled off as being a part of that lifestyle. Maybe you don't have to pay as much, but maybe you have to go through some extra checks or whatever. I don't know how that would work. But I think that if you primarily live off of the land like that, you hunt and fish for a literal, it's how you survive. Number one, I think you should be tax exempt. Number two, I mean that to mean like tax exempt period, meaning if you have to go out and buy ammo or whatever, you do not have to pay taxes. You know, I legitimately do feel that anyone who subsistently hunts should not be taxed. If they are charged child support, they should be able to alternative means pay it. 100%. And that is kind of like why I have this big issue with the child support system, is they demand you to be a part of the system. Well, what if my whole lifestyle is built around saying, fuck your system? Well, then the courts are going to turn around and say, we don't care because, you know, you have to do things our way or else. And that's wrong. That violates the very spirit of the United States as a whole. That violates it. And what if maybe I want my lifestyle to be passed on to my kids too, by the way? Like, what if... Let's go into what if territory for just a minute. What if I want to raise my kids to live subsistent just the same way that I do? Live off the land, eat the animals, yada yada yada. Eat the fruits and vegetables and whatnot. It's already been handed down from the Supreme Court that no court system can, at a fundamental level, unless you are actually actively endangering the well-being of your child, and they can prove it, they do not have the right to tell you how to raise your kids. That's already been dealt with. That's done and dusted. Okay? And by the way, I do feel that that is the better way to live. And there's nothing out there that's going to convince me otherwise. And you know how I know that? I have a second fucking chin. That's how I know that. I would never have had that if I was living subsistence. Oh, but that's a sign of wealth and prosperity. No, it's a sign of laziness, sloth, and fucking, what's that word? I can't even think of the word. It's laziness, but it's also complacency. That's the word I was looking for. That's what it is. It is literally fucking complacency. And it's fucking it's disgraceful. It is. I'll say it. I'm living a life in disgrace right now. I should be absolutely out there busting my ass, going out hunting and fishing and putting food on the fucking table. 100% feel that way, and there is nothing anyone can say that'll make me feel any fucking different. 100%. Why don't I? Because $100 and something for a fucking hunting license is out fucking outrageous. For hunting, fishing, and archery combo, which is what I go for, it costs me $100 something fucking dollars. Yes. Fuck you, Maine. Fuck you. I said what I fucking said. Wish there was a way to auto lava this into lava buckets, because then I'd auto feed the lava. Actually, I wish you could just auto feed lava into the furnace itself. That'd be great. Like, just put it under the dripstone and then it just instantly has unlimited fucking fuel. But yeah, I gotta feed this poor miserable bastard. And no, this episode of Minecraft Monday is not very kid-friendly. In any stretch of the imagination this time, because I'm speaking my mind for a change. I'm not, I'm not censoring myself for YouTube or anything else. I am letting my fucking opinions known and be known. And whether you like them or not, that is entirely your problem, because I don't fucking care. So, not today. Not today. Today is my vent day. I've had a lot of shit on my mind, and I'm gonna get it off of my mind. Right quick and in a fucking hurry. And yes, I will call you a fucking degenerate if you don't live your lifestyle in a certain way. And I have every right to have my opinion, and like I've said about opinions multiple times, everyone has them and they all fucking stink. So, You don't have to like my opinion. I never asked anyone to like my opinion. I asked them, oh, hey, hello. I'm doing alright. Just got a little bit on my mind. A little bit on my brain today. Trying to relieve some of the mental pressure. It's kind of like you have all these thoughts and you just kind of got to get them out and vocalize them before your head, before the headache gets any worse. So, how are you doing today? Let's see, I need the glass. That is coal. I already have the glass in my inventory. Let's see. Nope, if I put it there, it's not going to interfere with anything. Good. Now for my question, if I put it there, it shouldn't cause an issue with that, and I don't have to worry about... You know what? Actually, there is a way to do that better. Just bring it down a notch. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. That happened. There. There you go. I don't have to... I don't have to deal with that end of things anymore. Because now I have an automated kelp farm that should be lossless, and we are good. So we'll see how it actually works out. Will be probably a different story, but yeah, we'll see. Do I have any bone meal on my character right now? Let's see, you. And half of you. Wow, that takes a lot of kelp. I mean, like, a lot of kelp. Okay. Let's see here. Which one's growing faster? The one closer to the light is growing faster, of course. We'll fix that. We'll just put another light up there. If the light's equidistant. And really doing glow dust stuff is not that big of a deal right now, because I can go get more of it at any point in time. Just gonna dig right on over here. And I'll grab that bone meal to try to artificially rebalance the situation a little bit. And we'll just kind of fill this in. Had a little bit of a panic moment here a little bit ago because things were spawning and they weren't supposed to be spawning in here. And just to keep any entity cramming from happening, and I don't want to fill that like that necessarily right now. Oh, I know that's a fucking spider. Or maybe it's a zombie. I mean... well, I don't know about that, but I think I know what I will do with these guys, though. And it's quite evil. Okay, so these farms have been all of them automated. This is my garden. This has not been automated, nor will it be. This is where I go for my catharsis. Like an individual with pretty severe autism, actually. Oh yeah, I gotta plant my friggin' wheat. Again. Okay. Probably gonna have to go out for some more seeds, but that's okay. Yeah, anyway, this has been my world. This is my little paradise. And yeah. What I should probably do is put up some more barriers or barricades. Just to make it so it doesn't, you know... Minecraft veggies have a tendency to fly everywhere. At least this way I can keep it from getting up on that shelf. Oh, hey, it did do the thing. Got me 10. Got me 6, in other words. These are, by the way, these are the like the least efficient farms you can build. But all right, that's it for unmodded. We're gonna save and quit now that we've done some pretty actually impressive base changes, and we started to format for other farms up top. You know. I'm going to be building this whole unit effectively. Yeah, that's not so good. Actually, before we go into the modded section of Minecraft Monday, if I move that forward one block, hit the delete button on these. In fact, I can probably hit the delete button on it to that point and go make some stairs. There. Now I can't be shot in the foot randomly. Yeah, no, the base is basically built up to be a base. Like, I got farms, I got auto farms, I got cactuses growing. You know, it's a Minecraft base. It's like, what do you expect? You know? We'll chisel away at some of that. Can I get away with going up a level? That way I can build it into a super cactus. I can, I think, get away with it. Good. Here we go. Super cacti! Perfect. And you can grab some of the cobblestone that I just chiseled out of there. And in order to prevent that little bit of annoyance from happening anymore, doink. It's just faster for a character to jump over a block than it is to have to deal with the water behind it. In fact, with the infinite water sources that I have set up, and I'm probably going to set up another one too, you know, probably over in the room over there, just so that way I have one out of the way. Yeah, so we got, these have been automated. That's already been automated, but it's been kind of built up to look a little better up top. We now have a second floor. We have more eggs than I know what to do with. Once I start getting enough pumpkins, I can start doing pumpkin pie. Actually, what does it actually take in this game to make a pumpkin pie? I know it's eggs, and I think it's milk. Am I right? No, it's straight up sugar. Okay. Well, I guess I can start making pumpkin pie then. I thought it was milk. No, milk is for the cake. Okay. Oh, well, yeah. Cool beans. I mean, yeah. Sitting here thinking, I wish you could actually just make like fried eggs. But okay, well then here's what I'm gonna do. We are going to make seeds for the pumpkin. It's gonna cost me a pumpkin right now. And I'm gonna save that for taming a dog at some point. Well, it's not that I want him to follow me around, it's that I want him for basically to stay at the base. Let's see. I've also got to go get iron so I can make a name tag so I can start naming things. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I would, except Call of Duty takes up so much space. Woof. And I've already got 2 high space consuming games on my PC already. Not that I don't have a hard drive that can't handle it. I have 4 terabytes to work with. It's just I don't want to do it. That I'm not really a big Call of Duty fan. I'll sit here and play Destiny 2 till I'm blue in the face, but alright, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 had kind of a special place in my heart because back when I was heavy into PvP, back, like, we're talking high school, like, it's been almost 20 years at this point. I don't have really... It's not the same. Number one, first and foremost, it's not the same game. The Modern Warfare 2 that you have on the Xbox One today does not even remotely resemble... Well, it does, but just in, like, the most basic of ways does it resemble the original Modern Warfare 2. The stuff that... Of course you did. Of course, I'm going to fill it in. The stuff that we used to do back in the original Modern Warfare 2, which, by the way, is more than just the trash talk, which, by the way, I did partake in quite a bit back in the day. And the trash talk we used to do was, like, it was quite extreme compared to what you kids are saying these days. Like, y'all are soft compared to how we used to be. And I'm not really sure that's necessarily such a bad thing, but in some ways it is. Very much a bad thing because, you know, it turned y'all into a bunch of pussies. But at the same token, we were also... The door swings both ways on that one, right? Like, yeah, we were unnecessarily cruel to each other, but y'all are still turned into a bunch of pussies. So it's just like the trash talk door debate is definitely a two-way swing. We could have done better moderating ourselves because we were in some ways unnecessarily cruel to each other. Like, I'm not going to deny that, right? You'd have to be brain dead to not be able to say that out loud. But at the same token, like, there's a degree of, like, absolutely you guys just don't have a spine, right? To it as well. And I think there's a middle ground, like, some trash talk is okay, and a lot of it's fine. Like, dropping the bundle of sticks European word, F word, in a party lobby is old hat. That's normal trash talk, right? Nowadays they said, oh, that's against terms of service because it's offensive. Who gives a fuck? The reason for trash talk is to be offensive. And to that degree, I disagree. Now, there is a level above that, immediately above that, and a lot of people don't realize it, but, like, yeah, there is way worse trash talk than that. Way, way worse. And those levels of trash talk, beyond calling, you know, the scrub in your party, you know, I'm just going to use the word here, and I'm going to get banned for it probably. Calling the noob or the scrub in your party a fag, that's normal trash talk, right? But going out there and saying that you're going to do, like, There's a difference between trash talk and calls for violence, or saying that you're going to do something violent, or have done something violent, right? Like, oh, I did your mom last night. Well, okay, define the word did. Because if you're in, like, any sort of crime circle, that could mean that you actually offed someone. Okay? And that's not something you want to admit to, right? I mean, most normal gamers out there are not going to take it that way because, they're normal. But there's a degree of accountability to what you do say online, and that, you should be shamed for saying some things. And that shaming should follow you around quite a bit. And I'm not talking about, like, ooh, you're being transphobic or homophobic or whatever. I'm talking about, like, the real foul shit. And those out there who like to accuse people of being transphobes or whatever, they know the level of shit I'm talking about because they know exactly what it is, because most of them have used it themselves. And that's just, like, not even a lie. It's 100% the truth. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Like, all you white, rich, liberal fuckwits who want to sit here and say, that's racist. Dude, you don't even know what fucking racism is. You've never lived through it. You want to live through it? Okay, I'll dump you in a bush plane and we can go into a certain little village in Bush, Alaska where you're the only white fucker there. And watch you turn and burn over a fucking spit. Because while a majority of Native Alaskans are not savages, there are those who can be. And believe me, when I tell you, if you fuck up, they will in fact make you find out. Part of life, you know. And it's not a very decent or pleasant part of life either. But it's a part of life that does need to happen. People who do F around need to inevitably find out. But I mean, literally, you're going to sit here and cry racism at every turn or some sort of ism, and you're going to make the word just lose all its meaning, and no one's going to give a shit anymore because you've cried wolf so many times, and no one gives a fuck. Now, I'm not saying there's not actually racist people out there. There are. I've run into more than my fair share. And if you think I haven't told a racist joke or two, well, you haven't been paying attention. Go back to my 360 days. You'll see more than your fair share. Have I mellowed out? Oh, God, yeah, I've mellowed out a lot. Like, a lot. Quite a bit. Back then, like, way back in the day, back when Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1 were 360 games, not Xbox One games, me and my friends would drop the N-word every other word, just as, like, a joke between friends. And, by the way, I have black friends on here, too. Don't get it twisted. Like, it was never about being hurtful. It was just us fucking around. That's how we fucked around all the time. It was a very degenerate way. We used to have some of the most degenerate conversations, too. Like, everything ranging from Necro you-know-what to, like, straight up Vlad the Impaler level shit. So, it's not that this was some, like, odd occurrence. It was just something that we did. And times were, in fact, different back then. Sure. Okay, so why, in the name of... You know what? We're going to move you. Can I put you in a... Sure. The question is, will it actually do something? Like, it's not targeting anything at all. None of them are targeting. Yeah, we've swapped over to the modded section because it's time. pastime. I was getting a little too carried away with that other Minecraft world. Okay, I'm gonna shut that just for a little bit of added friggin' safety because this place is miserable. Can be a miserable about things sometimes. Okay, this looks like a good place to read the book. No, I want to actually read the book. Alright. Remote controller. Oh! How stupid of me. Okay, I need the remote controller. Okay. I would have known that. Do we have the stuff to make it? I need redstone. I need graphite. Which means I need coal to make the graphite happen. Okay. Well, let's make it happen. I didn't realize, you know... Yeah. Okay. Huh. I need 3 and a redstone torch. Do I have any redstone torches left, or do I have to actually make one? I'm gonna have to actually make one. Which means I need that. Actually, just that'll work. And yeah, let's do it. One of you. And 2 of you. Yeah, I actually didn't know I needed this. Haha! I have turrets now. Well, correction, I have 1 turret. Okay. You know what? No. If you're in front of my base, or anywhere near my base, there we go. No more. No more will I be attacked at my own base. No. Got a little bit of the rumbles going on. But Because if they'll stay active without me having the remote, good. And yes, I just realized how badly I could abuse that with a spawner. Oh, yes. Oh, the cheesiness. Pizza. I don't know why I thought cheese and then instantly jumped to pizza. I can't. I can't explain my stomach sometimes. Alright, we're gonna go start some smelting. Yep. No, me and the boys back in the 360 days, if I could get all of my friends together the way that we used to be back then, we would be literally like. Alright, so the Unsubscribed podcast got some guff because they were being crass or whatever. Dude, you don't even know what the meaning of that word is. Me and my friends used to be so much worse. Oh my god, it was glorious. It was great. Just the freedom of speech of it all. It was amazing. Like, we're so much more tame and sterilized than what we used to be. Okay. No, it's on. Cool. Okay. But here's what we're actually going to do. That was there for testing purposes. Oh. Oh my. Okay. Nope. Just because I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I am done with being attacked in my own home. Enough. Just kind of enough's enough. You know, if the mods are going to make the creatures more aggressive towards me, then I'm going to take precautionary steps, and those steps are not going to be very creature friendly. But man, those things are expensive to make. I will say that. Holy crap, are they expensive. Now, I'd like to make one of these, but I need to go get an Eye of Ender somewhere, and I need to make some more graphite, which that's... The graphite is almost more of a problem than anything else because of just how much of a pain in the nuts this map has become. And I might, in a private session where I'm not doing streaming, I might bounce into, you know, a different session with the security mod activated. Maybe without the Hiker's Best Friend mod activated, and I might just go Infection instead, which is what I was thinking about doing with this one, but kind of got zombied out after having a zombie movie marathon when I actually set this up. So... You know what? We're going to trim you down. I know you can eat glowberries. I also know that they're a light source. I was just kind of contemplating, like, what if you auto farm glowberries? What purpose do they serve beyond that? You know? Okay. Now, I can be on my own property without worrying about, bad things happening. The second I leave my property is a different matter altogether, but hey, it wouldn't be Minecraft without a little risk, right? Okay, he's the teleporters guy. Actually, this is the guy I need to talk to buy these, which for 4 emeralds, that's not that bad considering you can build your own teleporter with it. And the teleporters mod, the warp stones mod is great because if you want to have more than just one base, you can have about 3 or 4 of them, and you can also use it to trigger off to specific locations. So let's say I don't want to be tethered to just this one location. Let's say I wanted to go over into that ice biome, or maybe there's that jungle biome. That there's a village over there. I didn't realize that until just now. Um, or maybe you want to go over where those sakura cherry blossoms are, which would be like where my fiance would love to go in a modded game because she loves the cherry blossoms. Which is why I think for our wedding, hopefully she's not watching this, I think I'm going to take a minute off of streaming. I'm going to leave the stream up, but oh, that's a shame. That's a restaurant. Yeah, we'd have to go down to Massachusetts. Oh, that really sucks. Yep, and the nearest one is. Yeah. Oh, that would have been awesome to go to. It's the only thing I like about the big cities is you can find stuff like the cherry blossom garden or whatnot. I thought we had one in the state of Maine, like in Augusta or something, but I guess not. I'll have to talk to a couple of people that I know to see if we can conjure one up. Yeah, I'd have to look into it a little bit more, and I'm going to. But Excuse me. I've actually considered that. I really have for like a job or whatever, setting up a flower garden and being a florist. I did like legitimately. My fiance loves making flower bouquets, and I like taking care of plants. 100%. Like I would be like the world's best gardener. It's the thing that I friggin' love doing. And like I'm not saying they're the most easy thing to take care of, but like I'd love to have a flower garden on this property and have it set up to where I could have a couple of the local bee guys come in like once a year and have their bees go pollinate the flowers or whatever. I think, and in exchange for a little bit of honey, maybe a little bit of a honey exchange somewhere there. Their bees get to do their thing, and I get to have just like a little jar of homemade honey. I love. All right, this is gonna get me in a little bit of FDA YouTube trouble, I'm sure, but I love like raw honey. I'm not saying that there's any medical. I don't know and or care. I just I love eating this stuff. Like fresh from the honey hive. Oh my god, it's amazing. I gotta get some. We gotta see if we can get some stuff together to do that. I also think it'd be awesome to have like a flower garden and maybe instead of just like straight up security cameras, we can do like a YouTubey thing where maybe people who come here can. Oh, sweet! One of my friends got on. Cool. Um, like I don't know. I'd have to look into the legality of it, but like just set up like an interaction camera kind of thing, like how the guys at um the Pawn Stars show how they do things or whatever, and just have it to where we can post up some of the like bouquet making process or whatever. I mean, oh sure, there's only a certain number of combinations of bouquets that you can make or whatever, but you know, not to be like Hollywood starlets or whatever, but just like YouTube channel content level. I have no intention of being a primetime show like that. I don't. But I kind of feel like just like a drama free experience, show people that doing stuff with flowers is not that. It's not that way, and it's never supposed to have been that way either. And I know you're just farming content is probably what people are going to say. And sure, okay, well, that's the point of having a YouTube channel. But having wholesome, actually, like, business content, that is, like, wholesome, family friendly content for a change, which for me would be a massive improvement. That I'm actually doing stuff. It just, it makes sense. And as much as I love doing this, I kind of feel like y'all would probably rather watch me cooking burgers on the grill or something. Because gaming's great, and some games do good. Destiny, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, I'm sure. But, like, yes, I'm a gamer, but it's not all of me. It's not everything that I do. I'm not 100% of the time a gamer. It's only like 50. The remaining 50 is kind of split. And Christianity and my religious practices overlay all of that at 100%. So, I just. You're not going to see me quit gaming. You're not going to see me quit fishing, hunting, camping, enjoying time with my fiance, enjoying time with my fuzzy little gooba, who's trying to take a nap and is being adorable. Um, you know, these are things about me that are not going to change, right? And the first person who decides to spark off in one of my comments to say, well, dogs don't live forever, you can go yourself. I will have him have pups with another dog, and he will absolutely live forever in my eyes. 100%. Um, you know, and then I'll proceed to name my dogs the name of the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants from the X-Men series. And yes, he will live on, as far as I'm concerned. 100%. I do not have a problem with that. You know? And yes, I will be probably giving some of the pups away because, financial constraints are a thing. 100%. And there will probably also be puppy dog content on my channel, along with probably the flower raising if that's what we do, and, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. There's really no reason that I can't do everything that I want to do. It's just a matter of getting the motivation and effort. Oh, it's simple. I could use my welding skills to make fancy metal flower pots to go with the flowers. There's no reason I can't. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's a matter of get up and go do the thing. You know? In fact, I might actually get up and go do the thing, like today, because I just thought of a really cool, like, Throne of Atheon design from Destiny 2 that would make a really cool flower holder. All I gotta do is go buy a bunch of the wire baskets from Dollar Tree and weld them to the lattice work frame in such a way that it looks cool. Put a $20 price tag on it. I spent like $2 on the stuff from Dollar Tree. Put it out on the dooryard. Put it up for sale. There's really no reason I can't do stuff like that. It's just a matter of getting up and doing it. Again. Which is going to happen. And it's going to start happening very soon. I've been kind of putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I got a lot of other stuff going on too. We got vehicles that we're still trying to, get to a decent performing level, which they are doing very well, by the way. My black car is almost at 100%. She just needs an alignment, and we're good to go. But yeah, no. All I need to do is just find a, scrap metals guy, which I need to get a hold of Guy again and see if he can give me the phone number or the location to his friend in the town that's like 20-30 minutes away, so I can go get some metals and some more welding rods and stuff and just start making, flower baskets, fancy flower hangers. There's no reason I can't, Maybe I can go into his scrap metals place with like $50 and walk out of there with some fancy looking artwork pieces that could be welded into a pretty awesome flower holder or something someone wants for like a decorative thing on their car or whatever. These are all things that I know how to do, things that I can do, and I gotta stop just lazing about and doing nothing, and I gotta start doing stuff like that, because that's the stuff that I've wanted to do, and instead of doing it, I've been constantly procrastinating on it, and it is actively getting on my nerves that I'm just that, yeah. There we go. That looks a little cleaner anyway. I gotta stop procrastinating. I really do. I really, really do. And there's a lot of stuff I can do to make money right now that I could get done literally in like 10 minutes. I'm not kidding. I could except for going out to get the resources, obviously. I can jump in my car right now, go get this scrap metal, bring it home, cut it, weld it, paint it, in in a half an hour pretty much, make some fancy looking flower pot holders of some kind, and and walk away with a cool $50, $60 by the end of the day. With like a half an hour's worth of work, assuming that I had someone who wanted to buy it, right? And, instead I'm sitting here like twiddling my thumbs basically, and I'm not talking about the streams. I'm going to continue doing these gaming streams Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Okay? What I'm talking about is Wednesday. That has become an issue of contention for me personally, and I'm the one who's being the contentious person about it. And it's a problem. Alright, well, we got the security system fixed. Let's, we'll just deposit the sensitive information stuff so that I don't want anything else getting a hold of. We'll go down to the spider farm. We'll yoink some of the stuff here, which isn't much. But no, seriously, my procrastination attitude needs to stop. And that sucked. Yeah, that really sucked. That put a kibosh on me going and exploring. Like, in general. Let's see, yep. Okay, you're good for hostile mobs. That was the top one. I think I want the bottom one. Okay. Cool. I only want those targeting hostile mobs. So. Now. Oh, that just made me eat ish in the bottom of that friggin' hole, which I need to fill. I'm not eating that. You're not going to make me eat that. That's just not going to happen. There might be a mod that I add to this particular game. Like this particular world that I've lived. And that's the one, or made, and that's the one that turns rotten flesh into leather. It just makes things go a little smoother. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is go make some chow. Say chow to the stream here in about 30 minutes. Because we're just about done here. We're just about to wrap up here in the next 30 minutes anyway. This is a... Minecraft Monday is a 4-hour thing. It's not a... I mean, I can make it an all-day thing, but I'd rather not. Because I do have family up. I have other obligations beyond just streaming. And I know that there's going to be some hardcore streamer out there who says you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Point in fact, there's my family now. I will have to sign off and catch you all on the next one. This has been Minecraft Monday. If you like the content, hit the like